Welcome back. Day 6. Let me ask you a question. How many things have you successfully manifested since yesterday? Now, if you are following the program and focusing on manifesting things that are going to happen anyways, you should have been able to manifest at least a dozen things just since yesterday. And if you haven't yet reached that number, I'm going to suggest that maybe you accelerate your process, because this doesn't have to take a lot of time. All you have to do is really focus your mind on visualizing, imagining a specific outcome, or at least a general outcome that will probably happen anyways, and trust that it's going to happen, and then watch for it to happen. Because by going through the motions, you are practicing the process. And by practicing the process, you are going to very quickly get to a point where you no longer have to think about the process, and you can just do it. And when you get to the point of just being able to do manifesting, where it becomes not something you do, but an expression of who you are, that's when it gets really fun. So I understand that focusing on manifesting this little stupid stuff that's going to happen anyways isn't very exciting. I get that. And there's a part of all of us that wants to just jump over all the beginner stuff and get into the really sexy, exciting stuff right away. Here's my suggestion for you. My suggestion is at least build up a history of success to begin with. Start out with the stuff that's going to happen anyways. Get 10, 20, 30 different examples of this under your belt. And then from that point forward, again, my suggestion is just gradually increase the difficulty level. I'm going to put that in quotes, because when you really get down to it, nothing is ever really difficult. But there is that concept, that conception of there are some things that are less likely to happen on their own. So they are technically or imaginative, figuratively, that's the word I'm looking for. They are figuratively more difficult than things that are going to happen whether you do anything about it or not. There's that idea that there are some things that are more difficult that may take a little bit more effort, a little bit more focus, a little bit more skill. Let me focus on that word, because I think that's the better word here. It's not about difficulty, it's just about skill and how comfortable are you in feeling confident that you can do it. Because that's the bottom line. That really is truly the bottom line in all of this. Grow at whatever pace you feel comfortable growing. So if you are approaching this beginning stage with the concept, with the belief that, okay, I'm going to do this for a couple of days, then I can graduate to this and do that for a couple of days, then I graduate to this other thing and do that for maybe a week or two, and then I graduate, and it's going to take me a couple of months before I get to doing anything interesting. If that's the way you are approaching this, I'm going to suggest that that belief is going to hold you back, because it doesn't have to take that long. That's the concept. But the concept can change depending on your comfort level. You see, we grow in our abilities at different rates. Because this series of videos are going to be seen by a lot of different people, I have to present this information in a way that will work for everybody on whatever level they are, whatever point in their development process they are currently at. There are some people who really do need that tiny little step-by-step process. And if that's where you are, that is beautiful, that is wonderful. We all have to start somewhere. I started out at that level, or at least I should have started out at that level. Let me rephrase that one. One of the biggest mistakes I made was trying to manifest too big of a thing too soon. I tried manifesting this thing, failed. I tried manifesting that thing, failed. Tried manifesting this, failed. I tried one thing after another, failing each time. I created for myself a history of failure. And that was one of the worst things I could have done for myself. I'm trying to save you the pain and the frustration and the extra work that would create for you by helping you start out on a better foot, by starting out with a better pattern, a much more healthier, successful habit. Start out with successes. Continue with those successes as often as you can. Now, if you feel like you can jump ahead 2 or 3 steps and be successful at manifesting something that is more difficult, less likely to happen on its own, go for it. Beautiful. And if you are successful at it, wonderful. Continue jumping ahead a couple of steps at a time. And as long as you are successful at it, you're going good. You're doing the right thing. As long as you continue to be successful at manifesting the things that you intend, jump at whatever difficulty level. Again, I'm going to put that in quotes because nothing is ever really difficult. It's just a matter of what our beliefs are. If we believe something is difficult, it will be more difficult than if we believed that it was going to be easy. With anything that you choose to manifest, notice how you feel about it. Do I believe that I can do this? That is something you want to check in with yourself before you manifest anything. Do I feel like I can do this? When I dispersed the tornado, I had a feeling that I could do it, and I did it. There was no rule, there was no program, there was no structure that said, okay, I've done these things, therefore I am now capable of doing that. It's all a matter of belief. Do you believe that you can do it? If you do believe that you can manifest something specific, go for it. That is how we grow. What I will suggest on top of this is that if you think that you're jumping ahead a few steps and you're fairly confident that you can do it, which is all good, but then for some reason you miss and it doesn't work out, remember the story that I told you about lifting the weights and going from 150 to 200 pounds on the bench press just by adding a little bit at a time. On those days that I missed it, I went back the next day and I tried it again, and I usually got it the second time. Now, if I had gone back and missed something 3 or 4 times, I would have backtracked about 10 pounds to before that point and got another running start to break through that limit a second time. So if you try to manifest something that's a little bit bigger, a little bit more significant, and you fail, try it again, see if you can get it the second time. If you fail a second time, try it a third time. And if it doesn't work the third time, I'm going to suggest that you have stepped a little bit beyond your ability. And you want to take a couple of steps backwards and start focusing on little things again, things that you know that you can manifest, and recreate that history of success, or at least reconnect with your history of success. You don't have to start all the way back at the beginning again. You just have to get that success flow going again. And then once you've got that success flow going again, then go back to that bigger, more impressive outcome that you want to manifest and work on it another time. So this process of growth can go as quickly or as slowly as you believe that you are capable of accomplishing. You don't have to hold yourself down at the bottom beginner levels any longer than you feel is necessary. You want that feeling of confidence that you can manifest. As long as you can maintain that confidence that you can accomplish whatever it is that you set out to do, go for whatever you have in mind. That is how we grow. Just keep going and keep succeeding as often as you can. Now, yesterday we talked about the idea of momentum. And that in the beginning stages, getting those first couple of successes is going to be the most difficult part of the process. And that is when you graduate from the things that are going to happen anyways, and you start getting into things that are a little bit less likely to happen, it may take a little bit more focus, may take a little bit more attention to the details to make those things happen than what it will take once you go beyond that stage. It's all about going through the process, getting your feet wet, getting some experience under your belt. A lot of different phrases that we can use here. It's all about getting comfortable in a new reality, getting comfortable living a new life, a life as a manifester. So that's really all the information I have for you today. Just, I want you to keep going, working at whatever pace feels right to you. Because as you grow in your abilities from the beginner levels up into the intermediate levels and continuing on into the more advanced levels, you can grow at whatever pace feels right to you. I can't tell you how fast to grow. I can't tell you to hold back for any particular point in time. When you feel ready, go for it. Just keep checking in with yourself. What do I believe about this? What do I believe about my abilities as a manifester? And then keep working on increasing your beliefs of yourself as a manifester. And so that's really the main part about today's session. We're going to do another guided session that will help you increase your self-image, that self-concept of yourself as a manifester. So let's go ahead and just do the session. So I'm going to have you relax, and I'm going to have you separate from the world outside and connect to the world inside. And remember what it feels like to be deeply connected to your inner divine self, focused on that state of being where you have access to all the power of the universe. And remember the concepts of absolute truth, absolute reality, all power of the universe within you right now. And I want you to imagine that power within you right now at your beck and call, responding to your command at any time. And I want you to focus on this power producing miracles anytime you set it in motion, simply because you intend for the miracles to happen. You can imagine this power in any way that feels right to you. You can imagine it as an energy. You can imagine it as a radiation that radiates out from the core of your being out into the world around you. You could imagine it flowing like water, directed in a specific direction, like water going through a hose, and you point the hose where you want it to go. You can imagine this power as an extension of your body that you can use by reaching out mentally to affect the world around you. And any way that you want to imagine this power responding to your conscious control is okay, is perfect, because your concept of this power is the right concept for you. Each of us can work with this power in different ways. And so I want you to notice what feels right for you in how you are using this power of miracles to manifest the things you want into life. One of the interesting things about this deep inner state of mind is that when we are deeply engrossed in our inner reality and disconnected from the world outside, time can pass at a different rate. Some people have reported having amazing, wonderful experiences that seem to have taken a year or more, and yet they wake up and only a few minutes have passed in the physical world. Time can pass differently. And within the next few minutes, you can access other times and places within this deep inner space, because you can choose to imagine all of time in front of you in a variety of different ways. The past to one side, the future to another side. You can ask for different time periods to be presented to you in this space so that you can see yourself as a younger person. And then you can choose to see yourself a few years from now. And then it is also possible to interact with these other versions of yourself. And so I'm going to have you call in a version of yourself from 10 years into the future. And this version of yourself has already mastered this manifesting process. This other version of yourself already knows beyond any shadow of a doubt that this manifesting process works wonderfully and has already developed all of the skills necessary to accomplish miracles. And so as you meet this future version of yourself, you can notice what seems different than your current version of yourself. What level of confidence does this version of you have? What ideas and beliefs does this version of yourself have that you do not yet have? And you can imagine that you and this future version of yourself are coming together and meeting in a way where the experience, the beliefs, the confidence that this future version of yourself has is now transferred into your current reality. You can borrow these beliefs. You can borrow this confidence. You can borrow those skills so that you now have these skills within yourself. You now have the belief that you are a master manifester. You have the confidence, knowing that anything you set out to manifest will, in fact, happen. Time is flexible. Reality is flexible. All of reality can change in a moment as long as you believe in those changes. And so you can continue to visit this inner space anytime you want. Visit with other versions of yourself when it suits you, and borrow those abilities that you may feel would be useful in the present time. And so with this sudden increase in confidence, this sudden increase in skills, this sudden increase in experience that is happening in the background within your inner mind, you can now come back into your body, into your room, into the physical world around you, bringing that new experience, that new confidence, those new beliefs with you into the current time, and therefore leapfrogging a lot of the development process so that you can now manifest greater things than you could just a few moments ago. So, as you know, this is just a sample session to kind of lead you in the right direction. But it's also quite interesting how often these little sample sessions reverberate through your mind and continue to produce responses far beyond the actual experience of the session. And you may notice that as you wake up tomorrow morning, you will approach the day differently because you now have more experience, more confidence, and greater skills in manifesting. So I will suggest that you continue practicing, going through the motions, working on the little things until you feel comfortable working on bigger, more significant goals. And only progress as slowly or as quickly as you feel comfortable doing so. Tomorrow's our last day of the program, and we've got something wonderful planned for that. So until then, be blessed, my friend.